Hello, Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to this video talking all about my rune collection, rune card decks, and more. Oh my gosh. So this whole video idea came about because a new rune deck came into my life. Actually, two new rune decks came into my life. And I got thinking about how I use runes, how I use rune decks, and I thought I'd just do a little video and share it with all of you guys. So I want to start off just talking about actual physical runes. So I do tend to enjoy working with the Elder Futhark system. I haven't learned the Younger Futhark, so it's pretty much lost on me at this point. My favorite, well, I've got a couple favorite rune sets, so I'm just going to talk through the rune sets that I currently have and use, what I like about them, and then we're going to talk about rune cards and sort of how I can use them the same way or differently, etc. So one of the things I really enjoy doing with runes is pulling a single one as part of my client readings. I don't do it for every single one, but I do it for a lot of them. And I love working with runes one rune at a time. This particular rune set is probably, if I had to pick one absolute favorite, it would probably be this one, because these runes are made out of pine and they were produced by somebody here locally in my area. So geographically, they feel really linked to the land here. They also have that just delicious pine scent. A really good thing to do is to check around in some local metaphysical shops or even look at Etsy or other like homemade goods platforms like online and look for creators of products that are in your area if you want to connect to, say, woods that are local and you don't want to make them yourself. Like I probably could have made something like this, but I love how there's like real edge bark on a lot of the runes, some of which has come off over time, but a lot of it is actually held up really, really, really well. Anyways, I love pulling these one at a time. I might do as many as 3 runes if I was doing a reading for myself, and I would draw them. So far, I have not had a lot of fun or really kind of bonded with casting or working with runes in larger numbers. I just kind of feel like their energies are so big that I tend to like only reach for them when I want to look at a big energy, like an overarching theme or something like that. So I find that they work really well with tarot that way. But anyways, that is probably one of my favorite sets. And I love this Peggy bag I have with this like tree embroidery. Peggy's not able to do embroidery anymore, but I love that I got this before that became a thing. So love those. I also have this teeny tiny little set of runes, and these are just great for tucking in a purse or a pocket. And I believe these ones were made out of coffee wood. And so those are really cute. And like for size comparison, like you can see, these are about the size of my thumbnail. And that's kind of what those look like. Oops. I don't know if my camera will focus. There we go. There's where my camera focuses. But size comparison wise, you can see there's quite a difference between these runes and these runes. You could fit like 4 of these on top of this single rune. So that is the size difference there. It's nice to have a small little portable set. I don't actually use these very often, but it's nice to have them. So I usually have those available. Those are the only runes I have that are made out of wood. I also have a really lovely rune set made out of shells. So I keep this with my ocean altar and I use these runes specifically for draws at that ocean altar. I did get these from a seller on Etsy. These again would have been very easy to make myself. I'm just lazy basically, but I really, really love these. These are made out of little pieces of oyster shell that were obviously collected from the beach. So edges are already sort of softened and weathered from the water. I love these. They also make a really delightful sound. I love this one here. It has the hole in it. This is actually the blank rune. I don't read with the blank rune, but I just love that this exists. And because it has a hole in it, I feel like I could read it a number of ways if I chose to. I don't ever draw it, actually, interestingly enough. It just sort of lives in there. But these are my shell runes. And I will, like I said, I'll try to remember to link the actual Etsy shop where I got these in the description box down below if I can find them. But those are really lovely and I really enjoy working with those. But the other really fancy schmancy set I have are these ones. Now these ones are from Forge of the Phoenix. I found out about these from Dawn's Etsy shop. And these are actually made out of vintage china or just china that has been repurposed. So she actually breaks the plates and cuts out bits of these designs using some kind of special tool. And then she does engrave them. So they aren't just painted, they are actually engraved in there. And then the paint is added into the engravings. These are really, really lovely. And let's just do a little size comparison so you can kind of see where they fall. So these ones are big. Like I bought these ones on purpose to be big. And these are, I would say, much more portable. They also make a really lovely sound, but I really, really, really enjoy these. So I really, really love these. They feel extra special and fancy, and I love the like floral design on the back. So I will also have a link to Forge of the Phoenix in the description box down below. She also makes witches runes, which I do have a single set of witches runes, but I don't use them terribly often. But I love these. So these are currently my only physical rune sets. So I have 4, oops, I forgot one. That is the danger with rune sets. Sometimes you have to be careful because there's all those little pieces to go missing. So I have 4 actual physical rune sets: my pine runes, my shell runes, my coffee wood mini runes, and my Forge of the Phoenix runes. Love those. And runes are one of those things that if you're even remotely crafty, you can totally make beautiful sets for yourself by just getting some local wood or foraging for some local branches in your area, like responsibly, of course, and then like cutting those, sanding them, and just getting a wood burning tool or even just painting on them. But the interesting thing is that I really, really also enjoy working with rune decks. So the first of these that ever came into my collection was this beautiful Cosmic Whispers rune deck by Kokorina. Now, I will have a link to their shop down below. I love this set. It feels luxurious and beautiful. It was expensive, but these are not, like, if you can tell, these are not cards. They're cards, but they're very, very, very thick. I think there's something like 1200 GSM or something ridiculous. Like they're basically like wooden tiles. They feel like, in fact, you can kind of see the wood in the backing there. It's got a gold print, but you can, if you shift it, I think you can kind of see the sort of grain of the pressed wood in the background there. And these are actually gold edged as well. These are really sturdy and lovely, and I just really enjoy the aesthetic of them. So like you have the rune featured in the center. There's all this gorgeous gold foiling, of course. And then you have at the top, it'll tell you what et, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but what aet or et it's from. So this is from Tears Et. And then you have the name of the rune. You have a quick little association for the rune. So for Burkano, the association from Kokorina is Birch Goddess, which works for me, right? Luckily, I haven't had any issues with this rune and the meaning or the keyword association down below that these ones have on them. They've tended to work for me, and I found out that I'm actually surprisingly picky about that, which I'll talk more about in a minute. But these have just held up really, really lovely, and what I really enjoy doing with these is I hand over hand shuffle them. It's quite a little bit of work to do that because you can only grab a small amount at a time, but I'll kind of shuffle them up, and then what I'll do is I'll fan them. Typically what I'll do is I'll fan them, and then I'll hover my left hand over and just feel for any kind of heat or a buzz, and then I'll pull out whatever rune is calling to me in that moment. So that is how I like using these particular rune tiles or rune cards, and I really have used these a lot with client readings. They just work really well, and then I can set them off to the side during the reading and do the rest of the reading. So I've really enjoyed using them that way. Okay, so then into my collection came the really gorgeous little Rune Spirals deck by Nina over at Shuffle Tarot. These are so great. Now these do have you'll notice I have about a third to a half of the deck upside down because these are cards that I don't use. So there's some moon phase cards in here. There's some younger Futhark runes, which I don't work with in here. So I just keep those turned the other way around. And then these are really great because Nina just did a really beautiful job sort of putting all the associations she could think of. So there's a moon phase association with each card. There is the actual shape of the rune and the name of the rune up top. And then there's a little illustration that sort of captures the energy or the idea of the rune in her interpretation. There's also some astrological associations where she knows them. Like here, there's Jupiter associated with Manas. And I love this way that she's illustrated the meaning of this card. Sawulo or Sawilo, we have this sort of like radiant forward moving energy. Ansus, I love this one. Just really, really beautiful. So these are really fun. They're also on a really nice linen cardstock from Make Playing Cards. So I will link this deck down below so you can check it out for yourself. I love it. The colors are also an association, like an elemental association with this deck. So we have red for fire, blue for water. I think purple is spirit, green for earth. Or no, purple was air, I think. Yeah. And then I think yellow was the one standout because I think that might be spirit or something. I'm trying to remember now. I haven't used the associations for a while, but I really enjoyed, that's what the backings look like. I really enjoyed using this particular deck along with the rune study that I did with Dawn Michelle. We have a rune study group. If you missed that, I will try to remember to link the playlist to our rune study series that we did together as a collab, and I will also try to remember to link the Facebook group where all of the lessons and things that we did together are all still set up for you in sections so you can go through the content at your own pace. So I will try to remember to link that so you have that as a resource as well. So that brings me to my two most recent rune deck acquisitions. The first of these is the Deep Forest Rune deck. Now I added this as an add-on to my Phantom Tarot by Lamucci Designs. That was a Kickstarter that I backed, and I thought this looked really cute, so I added it. Let's take a look at it together. I have already flipped through it, and I will tell you it's not my favorite rune deck, and it probably won't be staying in my collection. I actually really love the way it's laid out. So you have this really nice cream border and this kind of like dark woodsy, shadowy woodsy background, right? This is just the title card here. And then these are what the backings look like. And this is just a smooth, simple, smooth cardstock, nothing fancy. But I like that you've got this simple kind of runic design in the center. You have the name of it, and then you have a keyword. I ended up running into some trouble with the way that the runes are named and some of the keyword associations with this particular deck. So again, this isn't one that works for me and that I will be keeping. And this is what I mentioned earlier, that I found that I'm a little bit picky because, or maybe a lot picky, because I have to gel. If it's going to have a keyword on it, then I have to gel with that keyword. And I just didn't in some of these. And there's some of them, the way they're drawn, I don't gel with either. So let me show you an example. So Fehu, this one is fine, as wealth is the keyword. This one bugged me because to me, urus, let me just grab my pine runes here and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so this is the urus that I know and love. It's shaped very much like this, and it feels very much like the shape of a bowl because I've built that association with this rune over time. But in this Deep Forest Rune deck, it's shaped like an upside down kind of, I don't know, like part of an N or something. I don't know, it bugged me. I did like the keyword here, strength of will. Then we have Thurisaz, danger and suffering, which is not my favorite association for Thurisaz. It can mean that, but to me it's giant, it's Thor's hammer, it's got more association than danger and suffering, so I wasn't a huge fan of that. Ansus, now this one was a really major deal breaker because to me I associate Ansus with sort of spiritual connection and communication or higher uses of the voice, that sort of thing. So this was a total miss for me. And again, these are all personal subjective things. I'm not saying that these aren't appropriate associations. They're just not the associations I tend to work with, so it became distracting. And I guess in that way I can kind of understand why some of you guys are like, I don't want keywords on my tarot decks, because again, if they don't gel, they can actually be really distracting. So Rido, this works, movement, work, and growth. Now I usually see this as Kenaz, so that's just a thing that bugged me a little bit. And here I see Kenaz is the torch. So to me, it's fire, it's inspiration, it's learning, it's knowledge. But here we have mortality and pain. So again, this one didn't work for me. Gebo, generosity, works. Wunjo, joy, works. Hagalaz, destruction and chaos, that also works for me. Nauthi's, unfulfilled desire or need, that works for me. Isaz, ice, that works. I usually see it as just Isa. But yeah, Isaz is, I think, a valid way to do that. Yera, harvest and reward, that works. Iwaz, strength and stability. So I tend to see this a lot more as like sort of ancestor, and I've got more associations than just strength and stability, but I see what they're going for there. Perthro for luck, works. Algies for protection and defense, works. Tiwaz for victory and honor, that worked for me. Burkanan, I call it Burkana, not a big deal. For fertility and growth, that works. This one really bugged me because again, Sowilo to me, I see it as this shape. And again, this is a preference thing. This shape still exists in it. It's just got this extra tail, and that is a valid way to do it. But unfortunately, it throws me when I look at the card because I'm expecting this shape and I see this shape. So it's just more of a disruption to me. Success and solace for Sowilo I can see. Awaz works. Manaz works. Laguz works. Ingwaz works, Dagaz, and Othala. So this one just isn't going to ultimately be a good fit for me, so it is going to be going into my purgatory box for the time being, because I'm probably going to end up rehoming it at some point. Just disappointed for my own personal reasons on that one. Why can't I get it in the box? Okay, there we go. So that is the Deep Forest Rune deck. Now this one, everything else you've seen so far here is stuff that I picked out, that I purchased, all that kind of stuff. But this deck was actually sent to me for review, and this is the Chubby Bun Rune deck, version 2 by Mate Horanumber. Mate is the creator of the company Dextiny. Let's see if I can find their logo on here somewhere. There it is. Dextiny right there. And I believe their Etsy shop is called Shuffle Tarot. I will link that down below so you can check this out. Please note that I got sent this deck, but I'm only now finally getting around to the video, so it could be that this particular version is out of stock, this deck could be out of stock, but Mate does tend to reprint their decks, so just reach out to them if there's nothing showing in the shop, and just ask what the plans are for a reprint, and I'm sure that you'll get some information. That has come up when I reviewed some of their decks in the past, but usually there's new versions all the time, because they'll sell out and they'll do a new version, and usually what they'll do is each version they'll tweak something just a little bit, but I'm actually really pleased with this little deck, so I wanted to take you through this one as well. Also, as far as I know, this is the only deck by Mate that has come with a guidebook, which I'm really excited about, and I hope that Mate continues to do that with their decks, because I think they did a really excellent job on it. So it is two-sided. So Mate's in Thailand, so on one side you have the English version, and then if you flip the book over like this, on the other side you'll have, I don't know the name of the language, but I'm assuming the native language for Thailand. Forgive my ignorance there. I don't know it off the top of my head. So I love that there's dual language options in here so that obviously they can sell it locally as well. So you get some information on the runes. You also get some rune spreads, which is really, really great. I love that there's a little introduction talking about Chubby Bun as a rune deck and what the theme is and all that kind of thing. But when you get into the actual meanings, what's really great is you get a page here with the pronunciation. Thank you so much, Mate. And these do seem to be excellent pronunciations. You get the phonics, so what sort of alphabetical letter sound this rune is associated with. So Fehu is associated with the phonic of F. The meaning, so prosperity, cattle, and fee. The keywords, wealth, expenses, value, price, medium of exchange. And then you get, super cute, like a little bit of information about what you're seeing in the actual graphic of the card and ways you can read this rune in a love, career, finance, health, or problem reading, which is so excellent. It's actually a really, really good little guidebook. So I'm super stoked about that. So that is the guidebook for that one. And I love the way the deck itself is produced. So it's linen cardstock, which is super lovely. Comes with a two-sided backing card. This is usually get one or two of these in every one of Mate's decks. I think it's just, I don't know, it just makes like a nice intro and outro, I guess, of the deck. But you get that. And then here we have our actual, oh, and there's a title card, the Chubby Bun Rune welcome card. And then you get into your actual cards. So let's do a flip through because I'm really thrilled with these. I love how they turned out. I think they just work really well for me visually. So first we have Fehu, and we have our Chubby Bun here holding the Fehu rune in a gold bar. Really illustrates that idea of wealth and resources, which I love. Next we have Uruz, and here we see the actual rune itself in the background of this image as well, like almost like a gate with the sun shining through it. And we also see it on the little matador's blanket, which is so perfect. So this is so great for Uruz, which of course does stand for bull. And then we have Thurisaz. So we have our Chubby Bun here in the foreground wielding Thor's hammer. We have a wolf here who's been bound up with actual thorny vines. So you can look at this. You also have the actual runes showing here in the light, or the sort of light pouring through that upper part of the house. This is so perfect. It really shows the meaning of the rune from multiple angles, and I thought it was just really well done. Ansu's, I love this image. It's so beautiful. We have our Chubby Bun here on a cliff top, and he's looking off at the mountain that has the Ansu's rune on it. You definitely get that feeling of connection and spiritual communication here, or at least I do. Rido is this runaway sled, which I think is great. Kenaz is somebody forging our Chubby Bun here. We can see the Kenaz rune here in the background. I just love how the runes are incorporated into the image, but we really get a very visual scene, and we have some forging happening, which I love. Gebo, the gift rune. We have this big gift here, and then they're exchanging gifts. Super cute. Wunjo, where our Wunjo actual rune is showing here in the lights of this like party that's happening, and everybody's clearly celebrating and having a good time. Hagalaz, we have these bare trees or tree branches that look like they've actually been hit by lightning. And we have our sheltering Chubby Bun down below. We have the actual hailstorm happening in this card, which I think is great. Nauthies. This is one of my favorite depictions, actually, I've ever seen of Nauthies. I think it really sort of shows what Nauthies can feel like, because I think we can get caught up on the need associated with this card. Here, Nauthies is actually showing on the bow of the ship that is sinking. But it's much more desperate of a feeling than I think just a general need, and I love that this captures that. Issa, we have our Chubby Bun literally frozen in ice. So perfect. Again, these are just perfect to me based on what I've learned about the runes, and I consider myself very much a rune beginner. So if other people have feedback in the comments about what they think about this, please do share it with us. Here we have Yera, and we see our Chubby Buns are collecting the harvest, and we have the Yera symbol there. Iwas. Okay, I really love this because one of my favorite associations of Iwas is ancestry. And here we literally see Chubby Bun sort of connecting with an ancestor through this tree. It's just stunning in every way. I love this card. Here we have Perthrow, and we have Chubby Bun throwing some dice. There's the Perthrow symbol on the front dice we see there. Algies. We get this sort of like spiritual embodiment of the swan, and in the background there's actually an elk glowing in the woods. Which the elk is one of the associations I have with algaes. I think that's a traditional association, but I just love the way this is done here. So Willow, it's engraved in the mountain, and we're looking up at the sun holding a sunflower. Tiwaz, there's a statue that's been erected to Tyr here, which is beautiful and very poignant. And then we have Burkano. We have our Chubby Bun coming out of eggs, very Eastery, very appropriate. And then, of course, the Burkano rune is in that tree in the background. I do kind of wish that there was a birch tree actually pictured in this card because, of course, that's one of the associations with Burkano, but I still like that. Love this Awaz card so much. I love that we have the horses like sort of corral gate in the rune and this very cute moment with the Chubby Bun and their horse. And then here we have Manaz. This is great. They're building a house together. So there's an idea of working together. You could also get the idea that they might be doing like, what's it called? Habitats for Humanity or some kind of charity project building a house, which really works well with the meaning of this card as well. Then we have Lagus. They're sinking into a beautiful mineral pool. And where is the rune showing on this card? Oh, it's right here in the sign. That's actually the shape of Lagus there, where it says Mysterious Lake. And then Ingwaz. Love this sort of like angelic sort of evolution we see happening here, like growth and evolution. Dagaz, I love this image so much. All the bunnies are like kind of going off to this new day, this new horizon. There's sort of a transition you see happening here. Othala, which is all about heredity and home and like legacy and what do you have to sort of share. Very Ten of Pentacles-y this card is kind of, and I love that that comes through really well. And then this card I think is meant to stand in for those people who read with a blank rune. I don't read with a blank rune, so I won't be using that card. And then we have the a little recap, thanks for your support, another reversible title card. And then this is the Certificate of Authenticity, which shows you what number you have of the deck run. So this is copy number 11 of 1,000 decks. And it has the credit for the author, the artwork, and the artist there. And then we also have a bonus card for Freya, which is really beautiful. I think that's gorgeous. So let's do a little shuffle. I had to share this because I thought this was really cute. Now it is designed to work with another deck, which I'll show you briefly next, but it does have a really beautiful little linen finish. I think this is great. This is right away one of my favorite rune decks. It just happens to be that these images really depict the way that I see most of these runes. So I'm feeling like it is really cohesive with my personal way of working with them. And that's what I love the most. In fact, when Mate reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to share this with you guys, the first thing I did was went and looked at the images and looked at as many of them as I could to make sure that it would gel, because I know I can be really, really, really picky about rune and how runes are depicted. So I love this so much. Love that it comes with a little guidebook. I just have to find the right peggy bag for it, but I'm really excited to own these. But I did want to show you that Mate actually did these two decks as a pair. I'm not going to go heavy into this one because this is not my style. It's cute, but I don't read with a lot of Rider-Waite-Smith clones, but these were designed to be able to work together for those of you who really love the Chubby Bun character or the cuteness, or who really enjoy working with Rider-Waite-Smith clones. This is the Rider-Waite-Smith clone Chubby Bun deck. It's the exact same cardstock with the exact same backing, and Mate did that on purpose so that if anybody wants to combine the two decks and read the tarot and runes together, that they can. I just don't think, I mean, as beautiful as this cardstock is, because it's gorgeous, it is a linen, I just don't think I need another Rider-Waite-Smith clone in my collection right now. And while Chubby Bun is cute, it's nothing that I think I would reach for in my tarot collection. The rune deck is another matter entirely, so I will definitely be keeping the rune deck. And this also is number 11 of 1,000. And there's a bonus Happy Squirrel card. But this is very much, to me, a Rider-Waite-Smith clone. It's the exact same sort of scenes, just depicted in this particular style. So I would encourage you to check that out if you think you would like to work with both of them together. But for me, it is not going to be a thing that I am excited to work with myself. So this one will be going into my purgatory drawer. I may think about it a bit before I don't want to be super hasty. And it was very sweet of Mate to send this to me, even though I wasn't reviewing it. But I'm really the most excited about this. So just a quick recap, my rune decks that are now in my collection include the Chubby Bun Rune deck, Nina Shuffle Tarot's Rune Spirals deck, and the Cosmic Whispers Rune deck. And then for actual physical runes, I have my beautiful set of pine runes. I have this cute little mini set of coffee runes. I have this set of China runes from Forge in the Phoenix. And then of course I have my shell runes. So that is my entire rune and rune card collection, not counting my witch's runes, of course. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. This was super fun to go over. I was real excited to share the Chubby Bun little rune deck with you, but I really also wanted to share with you all of my rune things. This is not something where I feel like I have to have a lot of stuff, and I already feel like I technically have too much, but everything here kind of serves a purpose, right? I have some really luxurious cards, and then some more like I can use them in spreads cards, and then I have different sizes of runes because every single one of these sets is a slightly different size. So I can have runes for different sort of situations and purposes. Anyways, let me know in the comments down below, what is your favorite rune deck or rune set that you have? Did you get it from somewhere like local to you? Did you buy it online? Did you make it yourself? Let us know in the comments down below, and let us know maybe what your favorite rune deck is if you have one. And I will be talking to you all again very soon. As always, thank you so much for putting your eyeballs on this space. It means so much to me. Thank you for watching. Do remember to click like if you enjoyed this video or you found value in it. Subscribe if you're new here, and don't forget to click that little notification bell so you're notified of all my future videos. Thank you all so much, and may your magic always shine from the inside out. Bye guys.